I'm gambling again.
You're listening to Bustin' Chops and Callin' Shots.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Producer AJ in the chair for Chop, who he didn't get to celebrate his birthday this weekend, so he celebrated it last night. I think he's still recovering, so he can't join today. But I am here as always with Mr. John Cole. John, did we have a good weekend or what? Wasn't it so much fun?
Dude, such a blast, man. Such a blast. One of the coolest things I've ever did. And just the four of us hanging out, man, was awesome. So, yeah, I'm pumped. I'm excited. Shout out to Hollywood Casino and the Barstool Sportsbook there in Charlestown, West Virginia. They were amazing hosts. My stomach still hurts. So, yesterday on the treadmill and at the gym I had to spend 3 hours and 15 minutes in that place just to feel halfway decent about myself.
You had to burn off the milkshakes and the hot wings.
Milkshakes and the hot wings and, what is it, mac and cheese bites you guys gave me?
Oh, my gosh.
I haven't ate that bad in forever.
Yeah. No, I think we were all hurting after that weekend. And it was fun. For those of you that didn't get to check it out, we were at the Barstool Sportsbook and the Hollywood Casino, which is in Charlestown, West Virginia. And we did live stream it. So our first live stream, I say we went pretty successful. We had a few hiccups here and there. But if you want to check it out, it's still on YouTube. So go to our YouTube channel. You can check out the live stream. It's still up there. We had a great time. They brought us out a ton of different food. We had screens everywhere. There were girls. Maybe not that many girls. But anyways, it was a great time. We had a lot of fun. And I know if John had his way, it'd probably be a little different. But yeah, we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And we look to bring more of those live streams to you guys and also just do more of those live shows. So keep an eye on our socials if you want to know more about when we show up at those places. And if you're curious where to find us on social, of course, you can always find us on Instagram, Bustin' Chops, Callin' Shots. That's no apostrophe, just Bustin' Chops, Callin' Shots. TikTok is at BCCS Sports. And then Twitter is at BCCS Sports as well. So we'll announce anything upcoming on there. But of course, go check out the YouTube channel. You can find us over there at Bustin' Chops, Callin' Shots as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive right in. Are you ready for what we're about to jump right into bracketology here? Do you feel prepared?
I'm ready.
You've been jet setting all over the place, and you've had a busy schedule. So I just want to make sure you're completely.
I've had a very busy schedule. I'm absolutely exhausted, AJ. To be honest with you.
Well, you don't look.
I'm here at the. Well, thank you very much. If only you were blonde and 5'9" and said that, but whatever. Yeah, man, I'm here at the Green Valley Ranch Casino and Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada, off of the Strip. More of a local place. They do a great job here. It's owned by Stations, which will be part of the Last Man Standing contest. And all you guys will be able to follow me on Twitter at BCCS Sports. I'll be posting those. You only get 5 entries. So once those 5 are 5, and you got to make 5 picks every day. So you can put them all on one game. You can put 3 on one, 2 on another, or you can do 5 separate. But the goal is who has a pick remaining when it's all said and done takes home the $50K. Only one winner.
Big money. And it sounds too complicated for me. You completely lost me like 2 seconds in there. So.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of luck. Listen, it just takes some more luck than skill, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think hopefully you have a little bit of both on your side if you're going to do something like that. And of course, we have the bracket challenge coming out as well. We've sent out the bracket to a lot of our members, and so I know a lot of folks are starting to fill out their brackets. And obviously, our first games are going to be on Thursday for college hoops, and we're going to talk all about that. So I want to make sure we give you all the ammo you need, all the arrows in your quiver that you could possibly have to fill out your best bracket, maybe even more than one. But first, let's just touch on some NFL news real quick. We broke the news on our live show on Saturday that it looked like the trade was getting pretty much done, like it was almost done when we broke the news, but it wasn't actually breaking news because apparently it still hasn't been done. And now Aaron Rodgers has come out with this list of demands that he has about needing certain players that he wants the Jets to acquire from Green Bay and elsewhere. Odell Beckham Jr. on the list, of course, and his good longtime pal over there in Green Bay, Randall Cobb. who that one makes more sense to me, but Alan Lazard, who looks like the Jets are trying to get anyways, and then Mercedes Lewis. Like, have you ever seen anything like this? It's just kind of unprecedented, especially as far as it seems like the deals
this guy. I mean, this guy loves himself like no other man has ever loved himself.
Yeah.
I mean, there hasn't been this much love since Jesus was on the cross for all of our sins, as much as he loves himself. I'm serious. I've never saw a man or woman, or these days, man or man, woman or woman, love each other the way he loves himself. Like he thinks there's the universe and he's just at the core of it. So, but my question's got to be, we talk about the Jets' talent, right? Mm-hmm. Cedric Wilson, Corey Davis, and Elijah Moore. What do you think those three guys are thinking? Wait, you want to sign three wide receivers and a tight end? What about us?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Cedric Wilson is safe, Wilson is safe, but Corey Davis and Elijah Moore has got to be like, whoa, partner, whoa. But look, this is what happens when you get into bed with Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. This is what happens. It's a lot of fun, the thought of it. But look, when you wake up with herpes the next morning, not so much.
It's kind of like that hot crazy matrix they talk about with girls. It's like as you go up the hot, the crazy also goes up. As far as like how it's like maybe this is kind of what the Jets are experiencing a little bit here.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but it's gonna. So I'm assuming it's Tuesday right now, 2:34 here Pacific time. I'm gonna assume you would think sometime tomorrow on Wednesday he's gonna make a decision, right?
Yeah.
And we all know he's going to the Jets now. Cat's out of the bag. I don't know if he's waiting for somebody to pop out some big cake, probably knowing his love for himself. They probably got to plan a party and a parade just for a signature. But
yeah,
man, this guy.
Well, this guy. We'll see how this whole saga ends. Hopefully, this week. Gosh, like I think everyone at this point is just ready for this thing to be done. But what is the fun of the offseason without stuff like this, without Aaron Rodgers making demands? I mean, this is what we live for, right? This is what keeps things interesting while we're in the offseason. So, what do you think? I can
tell you one thing: ESPN is going to be screwed when he retires.
Yeah.
All they'll have left to talk about is the Cowboys.
Yeah, it'd be like Fox News or CNN without Trump or politics, even for that matter.
Yeah.
Like, what would they even talk about, right? So, yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it is true. I never thought about it like that. All right, so do you want to jump in some college basketball? What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's go for it.
All right. Well, we're gonna start off with the Thursday games. I don't know. We're gonna skip the play-in games, and I'm sure you'll speak to that once we get to that potential matchup.
Look, don't go putting a bunch of money on these play-in games. They're in the play-in game for a reason. I was looking at a stat. I think Mississippi State and Pittsburgh, right? I mean, Mississippi State's the worst 3-point shooting team in the country. They're laying 2.5. Gun to my head, you take Pitt. But you can't go betting these play-in games. Southeast Missouri State and Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I spent 30 minutes on that game trying to make a case. Like, just these play-in games. If you want to take, take 10% of what you would normally bet just to have some action. If you're thirsting at the mouth that much, go ahead. But, be very careful.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We'll touch a little bit on the potential teams that the, folks like Alabama and other number one seeds might face up against, I'm sure, as we get to those matchups. But let's start off with Thursday. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this day by day as opposed to going down one side of the bracket or the other. So we're going to start it off on Thursday all the way from the 11:15 a.m. game. I think I'm looking at Central. So, guys, this could be actually 12:15 a.m. And we'll take it all the way down to the all 16 games all the way up until 9:05. So West Virginia, number 9 West Virginia, is going to be playing number 8 Maryland, right in the middle of the pack there at 11:15. That'll be your first game on CBS, and that'll be in a Birmingham game. So, what do you think? You want to just go down the list here? Start with the West Virginia Maryland.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's fine. West Virginia comes in 19-14, 17-16 ATS. Maryland 21-12, both straight up and against the spread. West Virginia 138th in the country in defensive efficiency, so about middle of the pack. Maryland a little better. They rank 60th, but both of these offenses is where it's at. West Virginia coming in at 55, Maryland at 61. West Virginia's got the dynamic Eric Stevenson. He's averaging 15.5 points a game. I really like West Virginia's guard play. Look, it's a Bob Huggins team, so you're going to get a lot of trapping, a lot of pressing. They're going to rebound the basketball extremely well. Now, Maryland, I think, has the size to counter that, right, on the rebounding part. And they got Jameer Young. He's a guard, leading scorer 16.1 points per game. Both of these teams on a neutral floor this year are 3-2. But, West Virginia 5-1 against the spread their last 6. Maryland 4-1 against the spread their last 5 neutral site games. So some good spread trends on both sides. West Virginia offensively averaging 76.7. Maryland averaging 70.7. Right now at DraftKings and MGM, 40% of the bets on Maryland, 60% West Virginia, with 63% of the handle leaning West Virginia's way. I don't really have a strong opinion about this game. If I had to bet the game, I'd lay the $1.30 and take West Virginia on the money line. I'm just out on the Big Ten. There's these Big Ten teams. I mean, look, Maryland got up big on Indiana in the conference tournament last week. All of a sudden, they flounder. Indiana ends up winning the game by 10. And then I watch Indiana just get throttled by Penn State, right? The only reason that game got close was late. So, I'm not a Maryland fan this year. Doesn't mean that West Virginia's no bargain. Like I said, I'm not going to have a ticket on this one. But if I had to play the game, I would lean West Virginia on the money line and not even mess with the points on this one.
Wow. Okay. Taking the little overseed there. I like that. And are we, so what do you think? Yeah. Are you going to speak to, as folks are filling out their brackets, like after you're all done going through your synopsis here, you think they'll have a better way to kind of map out what their bracket looks like as they go into like the second and third rounds and Sweet 16s and Elite 8s and stuff?
Yeah, once we do this breakdown, I'll run through the bracket. But this part for West Virginia, Maryland's easy because the next round you're going to play Alabama and get your teeth kicked in.
Well, there you go.
So
there you go.
You might as well just sketch Alabama on out to the Sweet 16 real quick, because neither one of these teams have anything for Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a double-digit win for it. Neither one of these teams can compete with them. Not on the offensive end, not on the defensive end, not rebounding. Whoever wins this game will be done and going home Saturday night.
Gotcha. All right. Well, the next game is going to be at 11:40 a.m. That's going to be number 13 Furman at number 4 Virginia. Of course, neutral side. I say at as the Virginia will be acting Furman will be acting as the visiting team, and that's going to be at the Amway Center in Orlando. So we got a number 13 Furman and number 4 Virginia. Any thoughts? Anything interesting you think it might happen in this game?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a great game. Now they're squeezing you. They're squeezing you a little bit on the spread because they want you to take Virginia here. But Furman 27-7, 5-2 on a neutral floor. UVA 25-7, 4-1 on a neutral floor. Now Virginia somehow offensive efficiency is 69th in the country. They run the 3 guards they got there with Armand Franklin averaging 12.5 a game, Jaden Gardner and Kyle Clark. So I love that 3-guard set that Virginia rolls with. Again, one of the better defensive teams in the country. They're actually 41st in defensive efficiency. I really like, all Tony Bennett's teams. They're going to rebound. They're going to play defense. They're not going to switch. They're going to hedge out. But I think with Furman, when you look at the senior guards, Bothwell and Slauson, Bothwell 18 points per game, shooting 51.9% from the field. Slauson, the senior forward, 15.7 with 7.1 rebounds. And then they got Junior Foster at 10.6 and Peggy's at 12 points per game. Furman, a much older team, right? They're 4th in the country in offensive efficiency. 4th, right? You don't think about that with Furman. In defense, they're middle of the pack, 177. But Furman 9-1 against the spread their last 10 games versus a team with a winning straight up record. 22-4 against the spread their last 26 games on a Thursday. So a little bit of a weird, kooky stat, but hey, it is what it is. Furman averages 82.2 points per game, good for 11th in the country, as to where UVA 68.2 for 273rd. So like I always say, Virginia's going to play really good defense, right? No question about it. They're going to muck it up, ugly it up, just like that Duke-Virginia championship game the other night was a very low-scoring game. But when you got a team that's averaging 82.2 points per game, and you're averaging 68, and you're the one that's laying 5.5, 6. Yeah, I can't get down with that. Right now, the money is split, but the handle 67% is to Furman's side. So amount of bets coming in on each team are the same, but the money is going Furman's side. I like Furman plus the 6 here. If there's a couple 6s, 5.5 by the hook, I like Furman plus the 6. And I'm telling you, don't be surprised in the last minute of this thing if they pull this thing out for an upset. Virginia was life and death a couple years back as a 1 seed playing Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina had the lead till under 2 minutes ago. Then Virginia blew the game against, not blew, they got outplayed from start to finish by UMBC on their magical run. Those Virginia teams were better than this Virginia team. I like Furman to cover the 6 and be in it at the last minute of the game.
Oh, potential upset there. I like that. What about number 10, Utah State at number 7, Missouri? That's going to be at your 12:40. I guess it'd be 1:40 time Eastern. What do you think about Utah State at Missouri?
Bets and money, 61% of the bets on Missouri, 62% of the handle on Missouri. Utah State laying 2. It's been down as low as a pick. It kind of keeps bouncing around. Utah State comes in 26-8, 5-2 on a neutral floor, and 21-12 this season against the spread. Missouri 24-9 overall, 3-1 on a neutral floor, and they're 500 against the spread even. Look, Utah State can fill it up, man, but Missouri's much more athletic. I think them getting on the glass is really going to hurt Utah State. Utah State 7-1 against the spread their last 8 overall, but they're 0-4 against the spread their last 4 times to the NCAA tournament. In 18 of their last 19 NCAA tournament games, they've been bounced. So, the Mountain West may be a little bit overrated. Missouri, and now don't get me wrong, I don't think the SEC, we're going to talk about your Vols later, who I love in football, but not in basketball. When you're playing teams like Mississippi State, that's like the worst shooting team in the country, and South Carolina and LSU, Ole Miss. There's a lot of bad teams in the SEC this year. So I think when you look at yes, Alabama's good. They're proving they're good. But look, you just want to be careful. I don't think all these SEC teams are created equal. But I do think Missouri's athleticism here, they're averaging 80 a game. Utah State's averaging 79. So both of them top 30 in the country in scoring. And Utah State gives up about 4 points less per game. Now, Utah State is 11th in the country in 3-point percentage, 38.5, as to where Missouri, they're down, they're 75th at 36.1. For Utah State, Stephen Allsworth's got to get free. He's averaging 16.3 points per game, dynamic guard. But again, I wonder, can he get around Missouri's athleticism? Missouri 5-1 against the spread their last 6 neutral site games, but they're 0-6 against the spread the last 6 NCAA tournament games. I'm not going to have a play on this one. If I did, I would lay $1.20 and buy the hook and take Missouri plus 2.5. But again, I think I'm just going to set this one out, see if a team gets up 10, 12 points early, and then get the other side at plus 8, plus 8.5 in game.
And so, who do you like for potentially just outright winner when it comes to the bracket? I mean, are you thinking Utah State has a chance here? Sounds like it.
I think it's a coin flip. I'll go ahead and go. I'll go ahead and go Missouri on this one. Again, whoever wins this game, I don't see them getting past Arizona the next round. I think the team that matches up the best with them is probably Missouri. Just because of Kobe Brown, I think he could be a problem for Arizona to have to guard. But it's not going to surprise me whichever team wins this game. That's for sure.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, the next game, which is going to be your 2:00 time on TBS, that's going to be our last seed, number 16, Howard. The Bison have made it in, but they're going against number 1, Kansas. So what do we think? We got a Cinderella story on our hands here, or is this pretty straight?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Look, I'm not a guy that's going to ever lay 20, 21 points.
Sure.
But if I were, I'd have to think about it here, right? I can see Howard. Now, I haven't gotten the first half lines yet. I just wanted to focus on the game itself. But if you could get Howard, I don't think you're going to get, but if you could get them 12 or more for the first half, that would probably be your only play if you're going to bet Howard in any situation. I just don't see how they keep it close. I mean, look, when you had that UMBC team as a 16 seed, that was a much different situation. I don't think Howard, I think Kansas, I'm not saying they're going to win it. I think the field's wide open. I think you're going to get, I'm going to be shocked if you have 3 of the 4 1 seeds make it. I think you're going to have a 4 in there, maybe possibly a 5, maybe even a lower seed, like when George Mason as a 12 went to the Final Four. But I think going into it, Kansas and Alabama are the 2 best teams. And quite frankly, I don't think it's close, right? They get Bill Self back. I think Kansas rolls in this one again. I'm not going to lay 21.5, but even as a contrarian, I'm not stepping out there with Howard.
Fair enough. Yeah. Next game, of course, we have our TBD, our play-in teams versus Alabama. So that'd be the winner of at Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Southeastern Missouri State. Does it
Congratulations,
really
you win and get to go play Alabama.
Yeah, you get to go play. You get to go play in the March Madness. Congratulations, and then the road will be over. So,
thanks for playing.
Thanks for playing. So there you go. So the next game is going to be at your 3:10 slot. That's Charleston, number 12 Charleston, at number 5 San Diego State. I think this one could be pretty interesting. San Diego State's really impressed me from what I've seen so far this year.
Yeah. Charleston 31-3, 3-0 on a neutral floor, 19-13-1 ATS. San Diego State 27-6, 4-3 on a neutral floor, 15-15-2 ATS. Charleston 13-3-1 ATS. Their last 17 that they failed to cover. So in their last 17 games where they failed to cover the game before, they come back 13-3-1. That's stout. Charleston has the number 13 ranked offense in the country, 81.7. San Diego State, 72.9 for the 148th ranked offense. Defensively, Charleston gives up about 3.6 points per game more, giving up 68. San Diego State gives up 64.4. Look, for San Diego State, it's all about the senior backcourt, right? Bradley and Trammell, for them, that's what makes their engine go. But look, Charleston, all 5 starters are averaging in double figures. That doesn't happen. You got 3 seniors, 2 sophomores. Dalton Bolin, a senior, averaging 12.3. Love him. Ryan Larson, the point guard, averaging 10.6. AJ, he might be one of the quickest people I've ever seen with the basketball. Number 11. Short dude. I mean, he is lightning fast. A lot of, the public's on San Diego State. A lot of respected bettors that I kind of follow, and some friends. They love San Diego State. I don't. Charleston's one of my best plays. It's at 5.5. I'd buy the half point. I'd get 6, whether you got to lay $1.20, $1.30. But I think Charleston plus 6, and I also think if you're looking for a fun little parlay with some underdogs, I think Charleston wins it outright. I just love Charleston. and call me crazy, I would be shocked if they lose this game. I would be, I love Charleston here.
Yeah. Sounds like it after the stats you rattled off. But, you make a strong point, I think. They really have a shot in this one based off of some of the stats you were just saying.
They're not getting enough. Yeah, they don't get enough respect. People talk about, their conference is weak. Look, Hofstra, UNC Wilmington, Towson, those are really good teams. That's not, that conference gets, doesn't get enough respect. There's some good basketball teams in that conference. And I'm telling you, I think Charleston's going to make noise. San Diego State, again, the Mountain West, they do nothing to impress me. They just don't.
All right. Fair enough. Well, I think that brings us to our next game here. That's going to be number 15, Princeton, at number 2, Arizona. Princeton, obviously, has historically, I would say, been known as one of the better Ivy League contenders, but they really have a shot here with Arizona. That's going to be your 4:10 time on TNT. What do you think?
Arizona laying 14.5 here. 63% of the tickets are on Arizona. 69% of the money. Princeton comes in 21-8, 15-12 against the spread. Arizona 28-6, 16-2 ATS. Now on a neutral floor, Princeton is 3-1, but geez, the Wildcats are 7-0 on a neutral floor against the spread. Now. Princeton got hot at the right time in their tournament, 4-0 ATS, their last 4 games overall. And Arizona, this may shock you, their last 16 NCAA tournament games, AJ, their last 16, 3, 12, and 1 against the spread. Wow. So, every year, everybody likes to pencil Arizona out to the Final Four of the championship, and they fall short of expectations every year. And this is not a Final Four team. That's not even close to a Final Four team. Now, I do think they get out of the first round alive. Averaging, they got the 5th best offense in the country, 83.1 points per game. Princeton, the 75th at 76 points per game. So Princeton within 7 there. And then defensively, Arizona gives up about 3.3 points per game more than Princeton. Look, it's not going to be the sexy play. It's kind of the just hold your nose and don't watch, but you either take Princeton 14.5 here, or you don't bet the game. You can't go expecting Arizona to come out and win 15. Princeton's going to slow this thing to a snail's pace. Mm-hmm. They're going to run their offense. They're going to run the shot clock down. They're going to hit shots. Now, I don't think they have the physicality to be able to match up with Arizona. But I think especially first half, going into halftime, I think this game's a lot closer than people think. Now, I do think Arizona stretches it out and, gets the win 10, 11, 12, but 14.5's a lot. That's a lot of points against a team that's really disciplined and senior laden like Princeton.
Yeah. Especially given the fact that they've been so terrible against the spread over recent games. Totally agree with you. No. All right. Number 9, Illinois is going to be at number 8, Arkansas. That's your 4:30 game on TBS over at the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa. One of the 9 and 8 matchup here. I could see either way going for it. What do you think?
This one's a coin flip. Illinois 20-12, Arkansas 20-13. Illinois 18-14 ATS, Arkansas 500 ATS. On a neutral floor, Illinois is 2-3, Arkansas is 5-2 on a neutral floor. Illinois 1-5 ATS their last 6 overall, and 3-9 against the spread their last 12 neutral site games. So Illinois not very good. Mm-hmm. But look, Arkansas, they are 4-1 their last 5 neutral, but Arkansas is 1-5 against the spread their last 6 NCAA tournament games. Offensively, 74.6 for Illinois, 74.8 for Arkansas. So they're right there. Defensively, Illinois gives up 66.6. Arkansas gives up 67.2. So the committee did a really good job of saying, let's put 2 teams exactly the same and put them together in an 8-9. And hence the reason why you keep hanging around a point and a half. I can't really get a good lean on this either way, other than to say, I'm going to push all my eggs in the basket of Eric Musselman and think that he's just going to outcoach Underwood and get Arkansas the win. But I think this is going to be a Maalox masher all the way down to the end. I don't think either team has a big edge. I think this is somebody's going to hit a shot in the last minute, 30 seconds, 20 seconds. Neither one of these teams are run away from each other. I would be inclined to play Arkansas money line, but 73% of the bets and money are trending their way according to DraftKings and MGM. So I'm not, but it's Tuesday. It is Tuesday.
Right.
You guys will get this episode Wednesday, but I kind of want to keep an eye on that. But gun to my head, I would take Arkansas. There's no way I'm backing Underwood in the Fighting Illini there.
Yeah, absolutely. You got another number 9 and number 8 matchup here. This is over in the Midwest region. That's your next game at the 6:50 game. So this will start the night games for the evening. Number 9 Auburn at number 8 Iowa.
Another SEC Big Ten matchup that the committee did a really good job. 2 erratic teams. Iowa 3-10 against the spread their last 13 NCAA tournament games, 0-5 against the spread their last 5 neutral site. But Auburn right there with them, 1-4 against the spread their last 5 neutral site games. Auburn comes in 20-12. Iowa comes in 19-13. Auburn's going to try to play fast, but Iowa can fill it up. We just haven't had luck with Iowa this year. I mean, every time I need them in a game, it just doesn't happen. I'm not going to have a ticket on this game. I'm not going to be placing a bet. I really don't know where the edge lies or who you could see getting the edge. But I think this is one that right now 59% of the tickets written on Auburn, 41% Iowa, 66% of the handle is on Auburn. So I want to say Iowa opened up as a 1.5, and now they're +1. So some Auburn money definitely coming in. Gosh, if I had to bet the game, if I really had to, I guess I would take McCaffrey in Iowa. But, when you're 3-12-1 your last 16 tournament games, that doesn't, I'm not going to go to bed feeling good about it. So this one will be a pass for me.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of money kind of flowing in, at least as it stands right now on Tuesday. Towards the SEC teams based on what you're saying over the last 2 games. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of jumping on the SEC.
Yeah, the SEC, everybody's on, Alabama, because Alabama's going to increase the value of the rest of the conference.
Right.
Because everybody's going to say, oh, Alabama, but look, the Texas A&M was the number 2 team in the SEC, and the committee made them a 10 seed, 7 seed, whatever it is. So that should tell you right there what the committee thinks about the SEC. Right. So as much as we want to say the ACC isn't that good, and I agree with that, I don't think the SEC is that great either. I would probably say the Big 12 by far is the best conference, and the Big East is second. I think that's where I would go as far as who has the best teams and conferences.
Yeah, Big East has got some great teams, and I've seen a lot of those games this year. We saw one actually while we were on our podcast over there in Charlestown, and so 2 great conferences. SEC obviously is always going to be competitive, but football is definitely, I would say, their stronger suit of the 2. I think everyone would agree with that. I wanted to I really like this matchup here. Actually, the next 2 games I think is like this is the John Cole mouth games, right? Like we have number 12 Oral Roberts playing your basketball team, the number 5
my Dukies.
Yeah, so
both teams got hosed.
Well, I was going to ask you actually at the end of the Thursday games how you thought the committee did in general. But I feel like I already know, like in some ways.
Yeah, Oral Roberts and Duke both should have been higher seeds.
Yeah,
both should have been higher seeds, but is what it is. Now, Oral Roberts 30-4, Duke 26-8. Oral Roberts 3-0 on a neutral floor, Duke 6-2. Oral Roberts 9-2 against the spread their last 11 neutral site games, and Duke 4-0 their last 4 neutral site games. Look, everybody's going to rag on Oral Roberts about playing in a weak conference and blah 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 blah. 4 starters from that Sweet 16 team are starting on this team. Mm-hmm. And Max Abrams, the point guard's averaging over 22 points a game. This is not now Duke defensively, 34th best in defensive efficiency, 63.8 points per game. Oral Roberts gives up 70.4. So I get the 7 points there. Okay. But Duke is averaging 71.8, good for 178 in the country. 71.8 ain't bad. Oral Roberts got the 3rd best offense in the country, AJ. They're averaging 84.1 points per game. They're the 35th best 3-point shooting team at 37%. Look, I'm looking at it right here. It's 50-50 on the money, but 61% of the bets Duke, 39% Oral Roberts. Line 6.5 by the hook, and you got to take Oral Roberts plus the 7. They can hang. They will have a chance to win this game. Look, I'll say this. If Duke blows out Oral Roberts by double digits, Duke's going to the Final Four. Oral Roberts will be their toughest game in that side of the bracket. Duke will beat Purdue easier than they'll beat Oral Roberts. I'm telling you, Oral Roberts is legit. They don't get enough credit. 6.5, 7 points, way too many. I got a good joke, but I can't say it on here about Oral Roberts.
Okay. We can mark it explicit. It's totally fine.
It's a little, it's way out. It's even way out of bounds for me.
Oh, for you. Okay. Gosh, now I'm curious. Hopefully you don't have any jokes for the next one. I mean, look, we bet a lot of Oral Roberts. You gave out a lot of bets this season with Oral Roberts in them, and I think they treated this pretty well. So it seems like you have a handle on sort of how they're doing in comparison to how they're ranked. Next team, this is game number 2 of John Cole's mouth teams, which is Colgate. And this is another team that you gave out quite a few for this year. Number 15, Colgate. At number 2, Texas. You feeling the same way about this game, or do you think this one's a little bit more straightforward?
Both teams come in 26-8. Colgate 17-16 against the spread. Texas 17-17 against the spread. Now Colgate, they're 1-2 on a neutral floor. Texas 5-1 on a neutral floor. Colgate 4-0 against the spread their last 4 games. Texas 5-0 against the spread their last 5. Both teams come in red hot. Colgate, now their conference is weak, but they rolled through it, right? No problems. And Texas really impressed me. We were sitting there at the Barstool Sportsbook in Charlestown, AJ, and what Texas did to Kansas, I thought was extremely impressive. And their speed and athleticism, Marcus Carr averaging 15.9 points per game. Texas is going to be a difficult out. Like, I really want to see that second round game, Texas A&M. I really want to see that game. Now, on the flip side, I'm one of the few people walking the face of the earth that's going to say this, but 30th best offense in the country, Texas, 78.8. Colgate, 77.7, good for 44th best. Defense, they both give up 68 points a game. But Colgate's the number 1 team from deep. 40.9% from the 3-point line, and they start 4 seniors. And I love senior-laden teams. Colgate, it's 14.5. I don't know if I want to step in front of that, but I think Colgate first half, if you can get like 7.5 or 8, Colgate first half might be the play here. Because I think they're going to hang with them. I think Texas will stretch it out late, but I think especially early. Look, call me nuts. I could see Colgate down a bucket or 2 at halftime. I could see him tied at halftime, right? I just think because they're going to hit shots. They're disciplined. They're a senior-laying team. I just think over time, the athleticism and the size and the strength of Texas will wear them down. But Colgate first half, like I said, 7 to 8 points, you get that. I think you got to take Colgate first half.
All right. That's just the first half, though, not necessarily meaning they're going to win. But.
Not necessarily the game. I'm not sold on that. Not enough for a give out. Look, Charleston, Oral Roberts, those are the only 2 I'm going to give out on here. I'll give out the rest of the plays. I like 11 plays over the first 2 days, and there might be 1 or 2 more I just want to creep into. But yeah, Colgate first half I think is a good value.
Cool. All right, well, let's head to the next game here. That's going to be at your 7:35 time on True TV over there in Sacramento, California. Number 10 Boise State playing number 7 Northwestern.
Yeah, good job by the committee here. Two teams that are very evenly matched. Boise State 24-9, Northwestern 21-11. Now Boise State 5-2 on a neutral floor, 1-2 for the Wildcats of Northwestern. Now Boise State 2-8-1 their last 11 overall against the spread. They come in averaging 72.1, Northwestern 67.7. So about 4.6-ish points per game difference. And then defensively, two of the best defensive teams in the country, actually. Northwestern giving up 62.3 points per game, good for 20th in the country. Boise State 63.7, good for 32, ranked 32 in the country. This is going to be a stone's throw. It's going to be a defensive slugfest. Northwestern, the way we have in that money line parlay, and they lost to Penn State, then how they lost to Penn State in the tournament. And look, I think Penn State got hot, but you see this all the time. Teams that get hot in the conference tournament teams tend to fall off come big tournament time. Boise State here, I'm not going to play the game. Right now it's set in Northwestern 1.5 with both tickets, 59% Northwestern, 64% of the money their way. If I had to bet it, I'd take the points. I'd buy the hook. I'd take Boise plus the 2. In my bracket, I'm going to have Boise advancing.
Oh, wow. Just going to give it out like that, huh? Sweet.
Yeah, look, it's not an official play. I think for bracket purposes, I think they get by at Northwestern.
Right.
But this is a coin flip game. I don't really, when I go through it all, I really don't see an edge one way or the other.
Yep, gotcha. All right, moving on to the 9:20 game, actually, a little bit later. The number 16 Northern Kentucky and against number 1 Houston. I know you said earlier that you don't really see any of these 16 or 15 even seeds having a shot, but what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I mean, Northern Kentucky been in the tournament 3 of the last 4 years there from the horizon. 22-12. Houston's 31-3. Northern Kentucky 2-3 on a neutral floor straight up. Houston straight up 4-1. But Northern Kentucky 7-1 against the spread their last 8 overall, and 5-1 against the spread their last 6 after a straight up win. Houston 1-5 ATS their last 6 overall, and 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games versus a team with a winning straight up record. So, look, when you look offensively, Houston averages 11 points more per game, and Kentucky gives up 7 more per game on the defensive end. That puts it at about 18. You're catching 19.5. This is going to be a no play, but if it got over the 20 and got to like 21, 22, then I would definitely be interested in Northern Kentucky, because I think Northern Kentucky is better than East Carolina, and East Carolina stayed within the number. So, look, all 16 seeds aren't going to cover. I think Alabama obviously is going to. And I think Kansas will, but this could be, look, Houston's not going to be in any trouble here. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But if they don't play Sasser, which I don't think they should play Sasser, their best player, because of injury, because you don't need him this game, I think a small play on Northern Kentucky wouldn't be the end of the world here.
All right. Fair enough. Moving on to number 13, Louisiana at number 4, Tennessee. That's the 9:40 game on CBS. I think Tennessee, I don't follow them as closely in basketball as I do in football, of course. But, I think Tennessee has the ability to play really well, and they shoot from beyond the arc really well, I've heard. But it just seems like they're sort of hot and cold depending on what you're getting night to night. And so hopefully this doesn't affect them here in this matchup against Louisiana.
Well, the problem with it is Zakai Ziegler, the point guard, is out. And Tennessee, again, they're the 4th best team in the country defensively, giving up 57.5. Offensively, they're averaging 71.9, but without him to generate offense and get going, they got Josiah James back in the mix. But Tennessee, look, they lost to Kentucky twice. They lost at Vanderbilt. I just wonder, did Kentucky get the record they got by feasting on those bad SEC teams? Right? Because when they played the good ones, Alabama, at Vanderbilt, Kentucky twice, they couldn't win.
Right.
So that's a red flag for me. Louisiana Lafayette, this is a team that's won this conference multiple times. They've been here 26-7 on the year, Tennessee 23-10. Louisiana Lafayette 16-13-1 ATS, 5-0 on a neutral floor. Tennessee 5-2 on a neutral floor. But look, Rick Barnes, I like him, super sweet guy, but he's 1-6 against the spread the last 7 NCAA tournament games Tennessee's had. So, my lean would be Louisiana Lafayette here, but I just think I think Tennessee's going to. I think Tennessee could be in danger to lose this game outright. I really do.
Wow.
If they don't get the tempo a certain way that they need it, because the Raging Cajuns are going to make runs. They're going to make. They're averaging 79.1 points per game. They're the 27th ranked offense in the whole country. Louisiana Lafayette's going to score, and without Ziegler there to really run the show for Tennessee, I got questions. Right? I mean, look, they had that. We looked up that Missouri game. They had it in hand. Next thing you know, they lose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
do you think that if they can,
very erratic.
If they can find a way somehow to get through Louisiana Lafayette, do you think they even have a chance at either Oral Roberts or Duke in the next round?
No, even if it's Oral Roberts, they get beat.
Wow.
Oral Roberts or Duke, either team beats Tennessee. I sold all my stock in Tennessee except for you and Jake.
Well, thank you.
And the lovely Nashville.
And football.
And the lovely skirts and cowgirl boots in Nashville as well.
Yeah, don't forget about the straw cowboy
very, very
hats.
important.
Absolutely.
And near and dear to my heart.
Yes, I know so. All right, well, let's finish out the rest of Thursday slate here. Number 10, Penn State against number 7, Texas A&M, whom you mentioned earlier. That's going to be the 9:55 game, so that's one of the later games on TBS.
Yeah, Penn State 22-13 against the spread. Texas A&M 25-9, 23-11 against the spreads. Texas A&M 20-13-2 for Penn State. Penn State 5-3 on a neutral floor this year. Texas A&M 3-4. Look, Texas A&M 10-2 ATS their last 12 overall. 8-2 against the spread their last 10 versus a team with a winning record. They average 1 point more points per game offensively, give up 3 less. But that 10-2 ATS the last 12, and I think the committee, one, it showed what they thought about the SEC, but two, I think it was a get back at them because Buzz Williams made a rant last year. I love coaches in March. I know it's minus $1.40, $1.45. Texas A&M money line here, I think, is the way to go. I think a nice little parlay action, little half unit,
now we're talking.
Is you throw you a little ticket out there, AJ, and you got on it Michigan State money line, Texas A&M money line, Charleston money line for the outright win, and Louisiana Lafayette plus the points. I think that's a good little parlay action. That 4-teamer at $40, that's going to bring you back with the pluses about 2,100.
That's not bad. Yeah.
No, nice little cabbage there.
Nice little cabbage. Oh, all right. Is that something you're officially giving out, or is that just like a little kind of extra?
No, it just came to me as I was just looking at it. I think Texas A&M gets the win. I think Penn State's a fraud. So you'd have Texas A&M money line, Michigan State money line, Charleston the dog on the money line outright, and Louisiana Lafayette plus the 11.5. They got a nice little 4-team parlay.
I'm writing it down right now. I like it. All right, well, let's finish out the rest of Thursday here. We got number 15 UNC Asheville and number 2 UCLA. That's gonna be the last game on the Thursday night slot of True TV at 10:05.
Yeah, UNC Asheville, really good season, 27-7. They got some really good players, but even though Clark's out for UCLA, Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year and their second leading scorer, I still think with Jaquez and Tiger Campbell, UCLA rolls here. Again, I'm not going to bet it. It's not my style to lay 17.5, but I feel like the Bruins probably push this one up over 20 by the time game ends.
All right. Well, before we jump into Friday, how do you think the committee did overall when they picked? I've heard a lot of people going back and forth about snubs and this or that, but what was your take on how they did overall, generally, on this tournament?
Well, I think the only snub people really got to argue about is Rutgers over. They feel like Rutgers should have got in over Nevada. You know, how many Big Ten teams you want? I don't think it's that great of a conference anyway. But look, Nevada can justify all that if they upset Arizona State Wednesday night. But I think what I didn't like is, for me, teams I was looking to bet. Florida Atlantic and Memphis, two teams I was looking to bet, they get matched up against each other in an 8-9 game. When Florida Atlantic should have been like a 6-8. Again, these major conferences eat up way too many of the higher seeds. You know what I mean? Oral Roberts, you're a 12. And look, whether you think the ACC was down or not, you're telling me that Indiana as a 4 is better than Duke at 5, who's won their last 11 games and win the ACC tournament. You're telling me Indiana's better than them. That's what you're telling me. I just can't. I can't subscribe to that. You're telling me that, Drake is another team that I was looking at. How are they a 12 seed? Drake should be a 9-10, 8-9-10 seed. So they're playing Miami the first round. I mean, there's two teams that are Elite Eight potential. Yeah, it's going to be a great game for the first round. But, again, I mean, Indiana is a 4. I just don't see that. I'm sorry, I don't. Tennessee as a 4 seed and Duke a 5. I think that's a joke, right? Not because I'm a Duke homer. Again, what have you accomplished compared to the other teams? But like Oral Roberts, Charleston, Florida Atlantic, we got to give some love because those teams are dangerous. I'll tell you this, for bracket purposes, whoever wins that 8-9 game, Memphis, Florida Atlantic, is going to beat Purdue, the 1 seed. Purdue won't survive and get to the Sweet 16 because Florida Atlantic and Memphis are that good. So look, I think the committee did a lot of good things matching up Arkansas and Illinois. That's close, right? Boise State, Northwestern. That's a good one. The number 1 overall seed, everybody complains Houston or Kansas. I mean, tomato, whatever. Or the number 1 overall seed, whatever that's supposed to mean. But I think for the most part, they got it right. Just those 3 teams, especially that Florida Atlantic Memphis matchup, that's the one that really irritated me because I was like, man, those teams shouldn't be playing each other, right? They just shouldn't.
Huh. Yeah, all right. Well, there you have it. So overall, pretty good, but some misses here and there, huh?
I mean, Florida Atlantic, as when you talk about 8-9, why didn't you put Memphis Auburn and Florida Atlantic Iowa? That would have been just better matchup wise. You know what I mean? So, but hey, what do I know? All I do is pick winners.
What do you know? All right, let's jump over to Friday real quick. Our first game on the slate for Friday at 12:15 p.m. on CBS is going to be number 10 USC and number 7 Michigan State. And which seems like you already are a big fan of Michigan State winning this one. But what are your thoughts on that?
I'm a fan of Michigan State. I'm out on the Pac-12 other than UCLA. And even them, I think their tournament chances dwindle away if Clark's going to be out. Both of these teams, USC 2-3 on a neutral floor, Michigan State 3-4. Now, USC's averaging 72.8, Michigan State's averaging 70.6. Michigan State 1-4 their last 5 neutral site games, but they're 10-3 against the spread, AJ, their last 13 games coming off of a straight up loss. USC 7-2 ATS, their last 9 NCAA tournament games. I just like Michigan State here to get the win. They went home early in the Big Ten tournament in a weird way. I think that helps. Izzo. They got, a top 10 3-point shooting team in the country. I like Michigan State to come out and get the win. I don't think they get more than that, but I think they get one under Coach Izzo.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, maybe it gives them fuel to fire of how they ended their conference tournament to maybe overperform here in the big tourney.
Yep.
Number 14, Kennesaw State, and number 3, Xavier will be the next game on the slate. That's 12:40 p.m. on True TV. Man, this is going to be a fun couple days here on this weekend. What do you think about Kennesaw State and Xavier?
Look, Kennesaw State plus the 12, man, it looks juicy. I mean, they're 26-8, 20-10-1 ATS. 1-1 on neutral floor. Xavier's 25-9, 18-15-1 ATS, 3-3 on a neutral floor. Kent State 4-0 against the spread. Their last 4 versus a team that's got over 600% winning percentage. Xavier 8-2 on that same trend. Xavier, awesome stat here, 24-7-2 ATS, AJ. Their last 33 NCAA tournament games. Now, Xavier, 12th best offense in the country. They're averaging 82.1, 7 points per game better than Kennesaw, but they give up 5.5 points more in Kennesaw State. I think Kennesaw State can keep it close here and stay within the 12.
All right. There you have it. You ended a little abruptly there. I wasn't prepared.
It's all good.
No, it's all good. Number 14, UC
Yeah, I like
Santa
Kennesaw.
Barbara. Okay, like Kennesaw. Fair enough. Especially with those points, right? 14, UC Santa Barbara, and number 3, Baylor is going to be your next game on that Friday at 1:30 p.m. That's in the South region.
This thing's going to be a track meet. Baylor averaging 77.3, 51 best offense in the country. Santa Barbara 71.8 points per game. Now Baylor gives up about 5 points per game more. They're giving up 70 points per game. UC Santa Barbara giving up 65.4, but UC Santa Barbara 27-7 compared to Baylor's 22-10. Baylor 3-2 on a neutral floor, but UC Santa Barbara 5-0. UC Santa Barbara is no slouch here. But Baylor 6-1 their last 7 against the spread in NCAA tournament games. Currently, the line sets at 11 according to DraftKings and MGM. 55% of the tickets Santa Barbara, 45% Baylor, but 35% of the money on Baylor, 65% Santa Barbara. So I want to see how the line moves. Man, if you could get 12 or more, you would have to look at the Gauchos.
Wow, take a look at the Gauchos, huh? UC Santa Barbara. We've talked about that before in the past, and they've definitely shown up this year for sure. They were on a couple picks that we gave out earlier in the season. So,
yeah.
All right, there you have it. Next game on the slate, number 12, VCU, and number 5, St. Mary's. That's at 2 p.m. on TBS.
Let me tell you something. This one is going to be, again, flip a quarter, right? VCU 27-7. St. Mary's 26-7, VCU 17-15-2 ATS, St. Mary's 17-13-2 ATS. VCU 4-1 on a neutral floor, St. Mary's 4-3 on a neutral floor. VCU 7-1 ATS, their last 8 overall, but St. Mary's 12-1 against the spread. AJ, their last 13 after a straight up loss. So every time St. Mary's loses, they bounce right back. They're 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 after a double digit loss, which we all saw what Gonzaga did to them. But as far as points, VCU 71 points per game, St. Mary's 71.9, so about a point better. But VCU gives up 4 more, 63 compared to 59.3. I got no real lean in this side. I think what really determines this, VCU still plays that havoc style they did when Shaka Smart was there. They're going to run. They're going to get after you. They're going to try to turn the ball over. VCU does not take care of the ball, but they're good at making you not take care of the ball. So if they can turn it into a junkyard brawl, backyard fight, then good for them. The problem with that is St. Mary's doesn't turn the basketball over. They're really good with it. They're really disciplined. So 2 totally different styles here. It should make for a great game. Whoever can compose their will, tempo-wise, will win this game. If it's up and down, VCU's going to sneak it out. If they can slow it down and hit shots, it's going to be St. Mary's. But either way, whether St. Mary's covers the 3.5 or 4 or not, or if VCU pulls the upset, either way, you'll be on the edge of your seat the last minute and a half of this one.
All right, yeah. So the next one we have is the number 15 Vermont versus number 2 Marquette. Marquette, we saw some exciting games over their conference tournament, but did it gas them out enough, I guess, to get knocked off by a 15 seed? What do you think?
Look, Vermont 23-10. It feels like they win this conference every year, right? I mean, Marquette 28-6. Marquette 21-12-1 ATS. Vermont 19-12-1 ATS. But Vermont 1-3 on a neutral floor. Marquette 4-1. Vermont 2-7 their last 9 neutral site games against the spread. Marquette 0-4 against the spread their last 4 NCAA tournament games. But I think that gets turned around. I don't know if they cover. I'm not ready to run to the window and back Vermont, but I think Marquette averaging 81 points per game, good for 17th best in the country, compared to Vermont at 72.5 points per game. Vermont's defense a little better, giving up 67. Marquette's giving up 71. But I think in the end, the athleticism and the skill set of Marquette will push them. Again, 11.5. The line keeps bouncing around. I don't know if they get that. But I'm not going to step in front of Marquette. I think Marquette has the opportunity to go to the Final Four this year.
Wow, there you go. All right. Next up on the slate's another one of our playing games that we won't have full information until we get to Thursday. And that is going to be the Mississippi State and Pitt, I believe, the winner of that game to play at number 6 Iowa State at 2:10. Any chance that this one is actually a little bit more interesting than some of the other 1 seed plans that we saw?
Well, look, let me tell you this right now. If you end up with Iowa State and Mississippi State, close your eyes, because this is going to be a brutal game to watch if you like offense, because these are 2 defensive teams that can't score. So if that's the matchup, good luck. I'll watch a different game in that time slot.
Yeah. What games are you like really? I mean, I don't want to give away too much because I don't want to necessarily insinuate that's just because you're interested in it. Maybe that you're giving picks out for it, but like, what are some games you have to absolutely see both Thursday and Friday? Like you got to clear your schedule.
Florida Atlantic, Memphis. I think that could be the best game in the first round. Yeah, I really want to see that and see how. I mean, that's going to be a great game. That's going to be a great. I think Providence and Kentucky is intriguing, right? We always look at those two and think there should be something more there, and they've both underachieved. They both come into the tournament sputtering. Oral Roberts and Duke. Look, I'm a diehard Duke fan, but I'm extremely worried. Oral Roberts is no joke. Okay. And I also want to see, I want to see if I'm right about College of Charleston, right? I'm just a big believer in them, man. And I want to see, is the handicapping in my eyes right, or am I totally way off base when it comes to them? So those are a couple of the key ones that, I look at and I say, man, another one, that Connecticut Iona game, I think Connecticut is Final Four type material. But look, Rick Pitino and Iona, they might be able to give them a little trouble. I mean, they're the best in the country at blocking the basketball. There's a really good presence by UConn in the paint inside. So I think the way those two teams match up will be good. And then Texas A&M and Penn State, believe it or not, because one, my hatred for Penn State basketball, though I love them in football. I just want to see, are they really the fraud I think they are? Or did I just bet 2 games that had them involved and I'm bullish on it, right?
Yeah.
So I want to see how that goes as well.
There you go. Yeah, definitely some must watches here for sure on the schedule, and I certainly want to see how Tennessee does. Are they as erratic as everyone's saying? And But I agree that Oral Roberts Duke game, you got me really interested now. I'm definitely gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, my palms are sweaty right now. It's only Tuesday.
All right, jumping into
Sweating.
the next. This is gonna be at the 4:00 slot on TNT. Number 11 NC State playing number 6 Creighton, and that's at the Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado, over there in the South region.
Yep. NC State comes in 23-10. Creighton 21-12. NC State 16-15-2 against the spread this year. 16-17 for Creighton. NC State 4-2 on a neutral floor compared to Creighton 3-4. Now look, everybody I hear talking about Creighton, and I was trying to drink that Kool-Aid, right, about Creighton. But NC State 4-1 their last 5 NCAA tournament games, ATS. Look, Creighton, their last 4 times they've played a team over a 60% winning percentage, 600% winning percentage, how you want to say, Creighton's 0-4. NC State's averaging 78.4 points per game, 37th best in the country. Creighton 76.8, 57. And NC State gives up 3 more. So when you look at that, that should really be Creighton -2. They shouldn't be laying 5.5. Now, look, I know a lot of people don't think NC State should have made the tournament, but I think with Smith in the backcourt and all, I think NC State can keep this close. If this goes to 6, I might have to bite on NC State because I think this is another close one. And look, I think Creighton's getting way too much love that I'm not 100% convinced they deserve.
Gotcha. All right. Next game here is going to be, as you mentioned, the Rick Pitino's Iona, and they are I lost me spot there. Number 13 against number 4 UConn. You mentioned this game as something you want, kind of have as a must watch.
Yeah, Iona 27-7, 20-14 ATS on the season. Connecticut 25-8, 21-11 ATS. Iona 8-2 on the neutral floor. Connecticut 4-1. Connecticut 5-1 against the spread their last 6 overall. And you would think, man, Connecticut strong, they're ready to go. But as I get to digging into this, Connecticut 29th best offense in the country, AJ, 79 points per game. But Iowa's no slouch, 76.6 with the 64th best offense. And then defensively, UConn, one of the best defensive teams in the country, 64.8, good enough for 43rd. 64.8 compared to Iona, 65.9. So it's within 2.5 points of both things, and you're trying to give Iona 9.5 points. It seems to me like Iona's going to keep this close. And look, Rick Pitino probably on his way to St. John's, sizing himself up against the Big East early here with Connecticut. I think Iona can stay within this number as long as they can hit shots.
All right. Next, we have another play-in game. Let's see. That one was Arizona State, Nevada, I believe. That is going to end up playing. The winner of that's going to play Purdue. Correct me if I'm wrong there. At the 5, excuse me.
No, the winner of that is going to play the 6th seed in the other bracket, TCU.
Sorry, so it would be the Texas Southern and Fair Dickinson that is going to be play the winner of
Fairleigh Dickinson.
Purdue. I know, what a name, right? That's going to be at the 6:50 slot.
Who shouldn't even be there because Merrimack won the tournament and the regular season because of that stupid rule for 4 years. Merrimack can't get in the tournament.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So Fairleigh Dickinson backslid into this thing like a Michael Jackson moonwalk. Unbelievable.
What a name, too. Gosh, I love it. Texas Southern and Fair Dickinson playing each other. They're going to play each other, tomorrow night, so it'll be Wednesday night at 6:40. I just have to watch that simply just for the marquee. So what do you think? Purdue, no trouble with for Purdue here?
No. Purdue will be just fine. They'll be just fine. They'll be fine.
All right, good. Moving on to number 11, Providence, and number 6, Kentucky. You mentioned this game as a potential must-watch at 7:10 on CBS.
Both teams come in 21-11. Providence 18-14 ATS. Kentucky 15-16. Both of them dreadful on a neutral floor. Providence 1-3. Kentucky 1-4. But look, again, both of these teams moonwalking into the tournament. Providence 1-4 their last 5 overall against the spread. 0-4 their last 4 games versus a team with a winning straight up record. But look, Kentucky's been no bargain. 3-14 against the spread their last 17 neutral site games. I didn't expect that. That was awful. Mm-hmm. Providence, 36th best offense in the country, 78.5. Kentucky's averaging 75.1. So Providence scores 3 points more per game, but gives up 4.5 or 3.5 points more per game. So it should be about a pick. Kentucky's trending here at a 4-point favored. Look, this is a coin flip. There's nothing you could tell me that would surprise me, but gun to my head, I would take the points because I think it should be a pick 'em.
So Providence plus the points then would be what you
Providence plus the points.
All right. Number 12, Drake, and number 5, Miami. That's going to be your 7:25 game at the MVP Arena in Albany, New York on TBS.
Yeah, I think this is one of the better games of the tournament, actually. This is, when you talk about, John, what game are you looking at? Other than Florida Atlantic Memphis, this might be an Oral Roberts Duke. This one's right up there with them. Drake 27-7, Miami 25-7. Drake 7-0 on a neutral floor. Straight up. Miami 2-2. Miami 1-4 against the spread their last 5 neutral site games. Drake 75.6 points per game. Miami 79.6, but then Miami gives up 7 more points per game. This is a coin flip. I know a lot of people like Drake. I like Drake as well, but I also really like Jim Larinaga and Caton Wong, the point guard. So I don't know ultimately which way this goes. I think this is, like I said, going to be one of your better games as you get into the day. And I really think that, man, if you had to pick one, like you just had to do it, I would probably go Drake, but I don't like it enough to give it out by no means. Right now, the money and the bets, the ticket count and the money is about split 50-50. So no real edge either way here.
All right. Next game up on the slate is going to be number 14, Grand Canyon, and number 3, Gonzaga. This is fun because isn't your daughter going to Grand Canyon University? Isn't she a junior?
My daughter's going to Grand Canyon, and she was very specific. She said, Dad,
okay,
if you're going to bet the game, don't do it because I'm here. But she gave me some intel. She said, do not take the 15.5. She said, second half is not their gig. Play them first half spread for Grand Canyon.
There you go. You heard it here.
71% of 71%. I was like, look, kid, you've never made a bet in your life. I don't think I'm listening. But look, I'm not going to run out there to bet Grand Canyon. 71% of the tickets are on Gonzaga. 70% of the money is on Gonzaga. They're just a superior team here, AJ. Yeah. I mean, in every way, shape, or form. But, I do kind of agree with Sierra, my oldest daughter, as I'm looking at it, because if Grand Canyon is going to make any kind of put up any kind of resistance in this thing, it's going to happen in the first half.
I can see that
because they're they're going to get rolled. They're going to get rolled the rest of the time. I mean, Gonzaga's really good. I think Gonzaga is actually a sneaky team that, because this is the year you're not talking about them, I could really see Gonzaga hopping in there to a Final Four run.
I could see that too. I mean, they're you can never really count them out any year, but I agree. There's some teams that just operate better when the limelight's off of them, especially if it's
no pressure.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a team that for so long has sort of been out of the conversation and then finally makes their way in, and then once they kind of get the pressure, it's like they, So I can see Gonzaga being like that. I went there for a basketball camp when I was a senior in high school, actually. So I've been kind of a fan of Gonzaga ever since. Yeah, I got to meet Mark Few. He was
Mark Few, cool guy, man.
Yeah, he was coaching back then even, so he's been there for a while. But yeah, I do think that they have a chance at least the Elite Eight, maybe sneaking in the Final Four. We'll see. Yeah. All right, jumping into, as you mentioned, FAU, number 9, Florida Atlantic, and number 8, Memphis. That's going to be your 9:20 game, so we're getting kind of late into the evening here as we round out the rest of Friday.
Yeah, Florida Atlantic 31-3, just an impressive season. Memphis 26-8. Florida Atlantic 21-10-1 ATS. Memphis 16-16-2 ATS. On a neutral floor, Florida Atlantic 3-0. Memphis 6-1. Like I said, I really think that this is a coin flip game. I wish they weren't playing each other, but hey, it is what it is. The Owls of Florida Atlantic 9-3-1 against the spread their last 13 games versus a team with a winning record. But the Tigers are 5-1 against the spread their last 6 neutral site games. Again, I think this is just going to be an awesome game. Points per game is about even. Florida Atlantic 79.3, Memphis 79.5. So you got the 25th and 26th ranked offenses in the country. Should be electric defensively. Memphis gives up about 7 points more per game. The line keeps bouncing around 2.5. Again, I'm not going to play it. But if you want a little action, if you could get Florida Atlantic and buy the hook to 3, I think this is a game that comes down to the last possession.
All right. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. So are you leaning anyway on the bracket that you want to share, or you want to keep that close to the vest?
No, I did 2 brackets, so I split it. Half the bracket I got Florida Atlantic winning and then beating Purdue. The other half I got Memphis winning and beating Purdue. So tried to cut my losses and get a little hedgy action there, buddy.
I see what you did there. All right. So you could see an FAU or a Memphis potentially meeting Oral Roberts.
Whoever wins that game's in the Sweet 16. It could be against Oral Roberts.
Yeah, because if we think that they're going to
come to play.
Yeah, exactly. So, trying to keep track here. Our last couple games here on the slate: number 14 Montana State and number 3 Kansas State. That's at 9:40 on CBS.
Yeah, Montana State comes in averaging 74 points per game. Kansas State 75.8. And then defensively, Montana State gives up 66. Kansas State gives up 68.7. Kansas State is another team I think could make a deep Elite Eight type of run in this tournament. They're 4-0 in their last 4 games after a double-digit loss. Montana State is 1-4 in their last 5 games after an against the spread loss, as they lost. They had a 12-game winning streak till that loss the other night. Kansas State is so physical and so tough that I just can't see them losing. But 8.5, 9 points, wherever around there, I think that's a tough ask. Montana State can score. We just went through the points per game. I think Montana State could keep this close, but I think ultimately K-State pulls away late.
All right, moving on. Number 13, Kent State, and number 4, Indiana. That's going to be 9:55 on TBS. That's going to be in their Midwest region.
Yeah, this will be the last game of the night, right? They're 28-6 for Kent State, 21-10-1 ATS. Indiana 22-11 straight up, 15-17-1 ATS. Now, Indiana's 2-2 on a neutral floor, but Kent State 4-0 against the spread on a neutral floor. The Golden Flashes come in; they're averaging 76 points per game. Indiana's averaging 75.3. Defensively, Kent State gives up 65.4. Indiana gives up 68.5. The fact that Indiana is laying 4.5 here is laughable. By the hook, Kent State +5. I'm riding with it, and I might even have a little bit on the money line in a parlay with somebody else just to play around. I think Kent State gives Indiana all they can handle. Kent State can score the ball. Indiana's been up and down. Now, that being said, remember I said earlier, a lot of these teams' toughest game could be their first one. You know, Duke, Miami, Indiana's another one. If they get past Kent State, all right, you know, now you look at it and say, okay, bracket-wise, who do they set up with next that looks the best, right? So So I like Kent State a lot in this one to cover the number against Indiana.
Yeah, it looks like there actually is one more game that evening at 10:05, and that's going to be the winner of the play-in game. That's the Arizona State and Nevada playing TCU number 6, both Arizona State and Nevada.
Jamie Dixon will have TCU. Yeah, Jamie Dixon will have TCU ready to go. They'll win that game.
Easy peasy. All right.
I don't know what the spread is, obviously, but they'll move on there.
No troubles then. All right.
No worries. Yeah. It means no crime. Every little thing, it's gonna be all right.
Well, that's the slate for those 2 games. What do you think? You got anything extra you wanna give? Do we want to jump into a little John's betting corner, or do you want to stay on college hoops? How do you want to? I know you got something more.
No. I just want to go. We're sending everybody out, whether you're free on a free player on a package. Please join the bracket. We'll be giving away a trophy, a hoodie, a tumbler, and a hat to the first place. Second place will get a hoodie and a hat. Third and fourth place for our own Final Four, each of you will get a T-shirt. So just something fun, a lot of bragging rights, so get in on that. If you're on a free player, you're not signed up, please reach out to me by email, john@bccsports.com. We got an amazing promo going for the 2 weeks of the tournament and for baseball to prove how much we can win for you. To me, again, I talk about this all the time. I know everybody's going to be, the wings and the beer is going to be flowing and all that. But please just stay responsible, not just, don't be drinking and driving. But from a gambling aspect, put the plays in, put your phone down, let it ride, right? I'm going to have everything in for Thursday and Friday for the most part. That'll get sent out on Wednesday. So you won't need the text or anything. Just enjoy your friends, your buddies, and let's make some money. I might send something out Thursday night for Friday. And then Saturday's plays will be out late Friday night while you're sleeping, and visions of candy canes bouncing around in your head. I'll be working. So, visions of candy canes. Well, yeah, like the Christmas Story.
Yes,
sugar plums and all that. Dance. Yeah, you didn't see what I did there.
I'm glad you went there because I was totally thinking it too. No, I was with you.
Well, yeah.
I was rolling.
But, yeah. Or the young lady at Planet Fitness. Dear God, have mercy. Woo! Anyway.
Visions of Spanish onions all snug in their heads.
all snug at the squat machine. Have a great tournament, man, but don't get stressed out. And you got to remember, it's a long 4 days. It's a battle of attrition. It's a battle of grinding out. And tournament wise here, as far as Elite Eight, I like Alabama. If we go to the South region, I like Alabama ultimately playing Baylor here, with Alabama moving on to the Final Four. In the East, I like Duke. I know I'm probably being a homer with that pick, but whatever. I like Duke and Marquette in the South in the Elite Eight. And I'm going to go ahead and give the nod to Marquette. So Marquette, Alabama will be 2 of my Final Four teams. Flipping over to the Midwest, advancing out to the Elite Eight. I have Houston at the top of the bracket, and the bottom of the bracket, I actually have Texas A&M there, little sneaker. So Houston will win and move on there to be our second number 1 seed to hit the Final Four. So we got a 1 or 2 1s, a 2. Then in the bottom part of the bracket, I have Connecticut up at the top, a little 4-seed action on the upset there. And Gonzaga, the 3 seed, with Gonzaga ultimately moving on. So I got Gonzaga, Houston, Alabama, and Marquette as my Final Four. For what that's worth. Straight up.
I think it's worth a lot.
And then
I need to charge for that.
Alabama, I should charge for your national championship. For your national championship, I actually got Alabama and Gonzaga, with Alabama winning with Alabama winning the national title.
Wow.
I really liked UCLA till that Clark injury. I thought UCLA would win it all till that injury.
All right. Well, anything from the betting side that you wanted to add, or do you think you pretty much hit it all?
No, promo for if you're not signed up on a package or free play, email me at john@bccsports.com. There's no way to lose because if I don't win, I'm going to give you a lot of baseball for free. But listen, again, just stay disciplined, stay grounded. Even though I'm out here on Vegas, I don't get to drink it up and party it up. I'm here working for you guys. We're on the Kenny Thompson radio show tonight. Check that out on iHeartRadio. And so we'll be breaking down Thursday's games tonight a little bit more in depth than we did here. And the same thing Wednesday night will be from Steiner's Pub, where he does a show on Wednesdays. We'll be breaking down Friday's games. And then Thursday, Vegas time, I will be up and early down at the book by 8 a.m. after my workout. So I feel good about it. I am tired, so I'll get to bed earlier tonight. But I feel good about the week, man. I think it's going to be good.
Me too.
Won't be like last week, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I wish I was there with you, out there in Vegas.
I wish you guys were here too, man. I got spoiled last weekend.
Yeah, we all did. Yeah.
Being around you and Chop and Jake, man, I got spoiled.
Yeah, it was a good time. So, like John said, if you are interested in joining into that promo that we have running all the way until April 1st, just give an email, Jon, Jon, at BCCSsports.com. And if you want to be part of the bracket and you're not one of our players, so you're not getting our normal updates and you're hearing this, go ahead and just email John too. He'll send you the link. No big deal there. So really appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, make sure you check us out on all the socials, Bustin' Chops, Colin Shots, no and no apostrophe on Instagram and Facebook. And then if you're on TikTok or Twitter, the handle there is at BCCS Sports. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Please subscribe and also go over to our podcast and subscribe. And if you're listening to this on podcast, please head over to our YouTube. We're trying to put a lot of love into that as well. So, John, thanks for jumping on and giving us the complete rundown for the weekend. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really, really fun weekend of basketball. And just really looking forward to seeing how all this pans out.
Cool, man. Hey, love you, my winners. I got to go downstairs and put in my Vanderbilt ticket.